I think there continue to be a huge need for innovation in healthcare, not just on the drugs and the devices that we give people, but on the how we deliver it to actual individuals. The experience of care is awful for people, the outcomes are embarrassing, and the cost of care is really becoming out of reach for people. And I think the only way we'll fix these is through innovation. So in healthcare, we need both new technology as well as new service delivery models to deliver that technology to people. And I think the best innovators will actually think about both of those at the same time. My advice to people is to pick real problems, but the hard part is coming up with business models that will fund those sorts of mousetraps. So again, the best innovators will think about both at the same time. What's a better solution and what's a business model that allow me to get paid for?
I think some of the innovative trends that we're already seeing is how do we create those advanced therapeutics for our patients. But more importantly than just being able to create those therapeutics is how do we get those therapeutics so that we can actually influence and impact our patient population. So there's oftentimes a notion of, being able to get the advanced therapeutics like cell and gene therapy for sickle cell. But I think the more important thing is how do we diagnose and find those patients who have sickle cell? How do we then engender their trust to be able to have BMC cover and care for them? And then finally, as an alternative to getting better, introducing the therapeutics to them so that they can enroll in either clinical trials or be a patient who is receiving some of these therapeutics. Finally, I think it's important to not only think about the therapeutic piece of it, but also to think about the continuum of care. Many of our patients are underserved, so in addition to finding and seeking care delivery, they may have other social determinants of health that we need to factor in. Things like transportation or energy or food insecurity barriers that are really critical in order to help them heal as a patient.
There are two things. One is robotics, and then the other is AI. And it's really about using these technologies to make procedures more precise, more predictable, and more intelligent, right? And so precision is about being able to reach the operative site in the least invasive way possible. As a patient, you want to be treated, but then you want to get back to your normal life as soon as possible. And I think this robotics and miniaturization of devices is pushing that boundary and making it even more possible. And then the predictability piece, that's really about using the power of AI to help make procedures more consistent and avoid complications. That's one of the most costly parts of our healthcare system is when something doesn't go as expected. That's not what the patient wants, it's not what the physician wants, and certainly it induces a lot of costs. And then the last piece is really that intelligence, right? And that really is, maybe a better way to describe it is driving toward democratizing surgery, making it so that or not just surgery, it's also delivery of therapies across the entire body, right? Being able to put in a heart valve or a pacemaker. But you want to make it so that when you do these procedures, you get the same positive result every single time, no matter which physician you go to, no matter which location it's performed at. And again, this is where the combination of robotics and AI, it simplifies the usability of these devices. It makes it much more consistent and more predictable and precise. All three.